continuing the discussion, next sensor is LDR, light dependent resistor. Light dependent resistor. So what is actually light dependent resistor? So as the name indicates, the resistor which depends on the light. Okay, so this is a kind of a device. If you incident light on it, so the resistance of the device will change. Okay, so this device looks like this. Okay, so if you see here, a casing is there on which you have to apply light. So if you see the graph, okay, so if I am applying the light, okay, what will happen when light is increasing? My resistance or LDR resistance value is decreasing. So it when the light is zero or there is a dark, so it has the resistance of 10 to the power 6 ohms, and when light is increasing, your resistance value slowly decreases. So this is your illumination, and the unit of illumination is lux, right? So this is your resistance R. Okay, so if you see this graph is not linear, right? So not linear means for a little bit incident of light, there is a significant change in the resistance, right? So if you want to respond this device, it takes some time, right? So it is not like directly proportional. Suppose you are incidenting light and immediately the resistance value will change. That will not happen. So it takes some time. So it takes roughly around 8 to 12 millisecond for the device to respond, right? For the LDR to respond. So when you are programming, you have to keep in mind that the resistance value will not change immediately after incidenting the light. Okay, so suppose you are incidenting light, it takes 8 to 12 millisecond for the changing the resistance. And even if you are going back, like you are going from light to dark, it takes even seconds to again increasing the resistance. So you have to wait, right? So you need to program accordingly. Now we will see the interfacing with Arduino. So how can I interface with Arduino? So let's suppose what I have to do, I want to interface with a microcontroller, any microcontroller. So let's suppose this is your microcontroller unit. Okay, so if I want to interface the LDR with that, I have to connect one resistance. Okay, so let's suppose this is like this. Okay, so I have to connect this with a one resistance value. Let's call it as R1, and this is your output, right? So this is connected to the analog input of the microcontroller, right? So you can connect this with the analog input of the microcontroller. Now you are applying some voltage here. Let's take it as 5 volt. So what will be the resistance across this LDR? So that will be depending on R1. So R1 upon R1 plus R of LDR, right? So what is happening? You can calibrate it using this one. So you know that after applying, the resistance value will change of the LDR. So you can decide the value of R1 accordingly, like how much change is coming after applying some light, right? So what is the change? So that you can so to fix that change, you can fix the value of R1, right? So this is how we can interface LDR with the microcontroller. Now next sensor is your microphone. So microphone is also an electroacoustic sensor, right? So it is opposite of a speaker. In a speaker, your electrical signal is converting to basically sound. Okay, but here it's opposite, right? We are speaking and we could hear, so our sound is converting to electrical signal, right? So if you see the microphone, it looks like this inside. Same, it is same as almost same as compared to speaker. So it also has a permanent magnet and electromagnet, right? And there is a coil around it. So if you speak, this is a diaphragm. Okay, if you speak, this is your diaphragm. So if you speak, your diaphragm will go back and forth, and it will move this coil. Okay, so whatever be the movement, that coil will convert that sound signal or vibration to electrical signal. Okay, so this is how you are converting a sound signal to voltage, right? So whatever the signal, you can get it here. So if you go in market, if you buy a mic, it looks like this, which is a 2-pin device. Okay, and if you can find this kind of structure also. Now if I go the internal diagram of mic or microphone, it looks like this. So it contains one transistor, and this is a symbolic representation of your mic, and it contains some capacitance and resistance. So if you see this transistor, this is working in a amplifier mode, right? So whatever the sound is coming, it will amplify that sound. Okay, and you can connect it through Arduino. So if you see the circuit connection with Arduino, you can see that we have placed the mic here, and this is the amplifier transistor circuit, right? This is your transistor, and there are some couple of resistance to work this transistor in a amplifier mode. Okay, so this is how we can interface microphone with Arduino. But nowadays there are sophisticated microphone modules which are coming, which are actually which are already including this amplifier circuitry inside. So you are getting a single package which includes these kind of circuitry, so the interfacing becomes more easy, right? Now next kind of sensors we study, that is a capacitive sensor. So what is the meaning of capacitive sensor? So these kind of sensors are based on your capacitive coupling. Okay, capacitive coupling. So what is capacitive coupling? So if you are let's suppose there are two plates. If you bring those plates closer, some capacitance will be introduced, right? And if those plates are of different permittivity, for example, your capacitive sensor is most widely used in your touch devices, right? So what is happening, you are bringing your hand closer to some screen, and there is a free space permittivity, and we have also, our body is also conducting, and that has some moisture. So if you bring that hand closer to that screen, the permittivity basically will change, right? So it will introduce a coupling, and that kind of coupling is known as capacitive coupling. So if you see, when you bring your hand closer to that plate, it works as a plate, right? So this works as a plate. So here if you see, this will introduce a capacitive coupling, and this is your permittivity. So it works as a switch. So if you see, this is working as a switch. Okay, switch means whenever you are bringing it, your switch is closed. Whenever you are bringing two plates closer, the switch will be closed, otherwise it will be open, right? So there are two kinds of touch sensors we are using. One is capacitive, and another is resistive, right? So where capacitive is most widely used, right? Because it's easy to it is easy and good, provides a good touch, right? Now if you see the operation, how does it work? So what is happening when you are bringing your hand closer? Okay, so this is an open circuit, or it's open switch, right? So when you are bringing your hand closer, the capacitance will change. So capacitance can be defined as epsilon r, A, the area of the plate, and then D, the distance between those two plates, right? And it is multiplied by epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is a free space permittivity. So what is happening, you can think of in this way. So this is your screen, touch screen, and this is the top of another screen. So whenever you are bringing your hand closer to it, what is happening, these two are not connected, right? So whenever you are bringing your hand closer, so these two will be connected by a capacitance. So some capacitance, capacitive coupling will be introduced between those two plates. Okay, if you see here, when you see here, whenever you are bringing your hand closer, it is connected. So some kind of capacitive coupling is introduced. Okay, due to we are able to get connections or a touch. And apart from the mobile applications, you know about touchpads and all, right? So touchpads also, it uses capacitive kind of coupling, right? So our next sensor is smoke sensor. Okay, so we will see before that interfacing with Arduino. So touch sensor looks like this, which has basically 3 pins. So this is your ground pin, this is your supply, and this is your analog output, right? So sorry, it gives a digital output, it does not give analog output. So it gives either 0 or 1, the touch has happened or touch has not happened, right? So this is your sensor pad where you are applying the sensor. Okay, so it's very easy to connect because all the circuitry is built inside, right? If you see all the circuitry which is printed, that is built in the module itself. Okay, so connection is very easy. So those 2 pins will be connected to ground and plus 5 volt, and you can simply apply it to digital input pin. Okay, and you can get the touch has happened or not. So next sensor is gas sensor or smoke sensor. Okay, so we will study MQ135 gas sensor or smoke sensor. So this kind of sensor is used to detect many gases such as smoke, right? And if you know breath analyzer, right? So when you impose your breath on this mask of this sensor, something will change, right? So we'll study what will change inside this sensor, but something is going to change, some property is going to change, which will introduce the detection of which gas has imposed on this mask. So how does it work actually? So this kind of gas sensor, if you see, there is a small heater inside. Okay, there is a small heater inside. So whenever you are putting some air or breath onto it, what will happen, or it is an environment also, so that heater will start actually heating first. Okay, first you have to heat it, right? So there is a heater that will be start heating first. Then for that we have to give a separate supply to heat the heater, right? Then along with the heater there is a electrochemical sensor. There is a electrochemical sensor. This electrochemical sensor is sensitive to range of cases. Okay, it is sensitive to a range of cases. That's why we are able to detect smoke or alcohol or any other similar kind of gases, right? And it works as a room temperature, right? So what is happening? So there are some tubes. Okay, there are some tubes below the heater. So I'll write the name of the tubes. So there is a layer of tin oxide, aluminum oxide, tin oxide, or tin oxide inside. This is tin oxide inside aluminum oxide microtubes. Okay, so along with the heater there are some microtubes which are attached, in which you will find the tin oxide. So whenever the heat is generated heat is generated, then what will happen, this tin oxide property will change. Okay, so this is how which can be detected. Now some change will be there in the tin oxide that can be converted into an analog output. Okay, so whenever some change is there, so whenever any change is there, that will be converted to analog voltage output. Okay, So all these things like heater and this micro tubes are packed into a tabular casing, right? And it is highly sensitive to different kinds of gases such as ammonia, sulfide, benzene, and some other harmful gases. Okay, so if you see the interfacing, how to interface it with Arduino. So your gas sensor look like this, and it has two heating element, okay, which are needed to heat the heater. Okay, so there are two other than there are four pins A, B, B, right? So what are those four pins? One will be connected to VCC and ground, okay, and there are two inputs which are actually digital output and analog output. Both output it gives. So digital output means where the gas has detected or not, and there is an analog voltage value. Like what is the value? Gas means it is giving simply 1 or 0, right? But in analog output, depending on the voltage range, we can find out like which gas is detected. Okay, so we can set some threshold to detect different kinds of gases. So this is the actually original sensor, but all the required interfacing is already done in the market available modules. So you can buy modules itself. So that those kind of other required interfaces are already packed into a single module. So if you see, there are four pins here that can be simply connected to the Arduino, right? So we often don't need your digital out, so we can leave it. Another thing connection can be done easily to detect the any kind of gas, right? So another sensor is your relay, okay, so which is most often used in actuation. So because what is happening actually, your embedded system applications, you need to design or you need to use the sensors which are actually needed to govern some high-end system. So what is the meaning of high-end system? So your microcontroller works on a 5-volt power supply, right? But in real time we need to operate high voltage devices such as a refrigerator, fridge, etc. There are so many high voltage devices. So microcontroller does not support that. Okay, microcontroller will not able to switch on and off those devices, right? Because we need 230 volt power supply, which is not possible from this Arduino, right? So for that, relay is most often used. Okay, relay is most often used. So there are two kinds of relay. One is mechanical relay and another is electronic relay, right? Or solid state relay. Okay, we call it as solid state relay. So if you see the diagram of relay, it comes either in transparent casing or it comes in this shield casing in which we can't see anything inside, but it contains three pins. One is normally open, common and closed, right? So if you see inside, the circuit looks like this. Okay, so this part actually is connected to Arduino, okay, which is governed by 5-volt power supply, and if it is connected to here, it is basically operating the 230-volt high voltage supply. Okay, so now we'll see how does it work. So in a normally open case, the switch is not connected. Okay, whenever you will connect the wire from normally open and common, the switch will be normally open switch will be connected, and you can supply the you can switch on the high voltage power supply. Okay, so this is the Arduino connections of the relay. So suppose you want to operate this bulb and this is your power supply. So one will be connected to common and another will be connected to the your normally open. Okay, so how will you operate it? So two will be simply connected to ground and your power supply, right? And third, you can find out the output, like how do you want to operate it, right? So when do you want to operate this bulb? So some kind of analog or digital output you can give to govern this bulb, right? So this is how we can use the relay. Now last kind of relay is your solid state relay. So in this case you see that there is a mechanical switch here. Okay, so mechanically it has to connect through this high voltage, and this is a low voltage part. This is a low voltage part, and this is your high voltage part. So in this case, mechanically it has to connect from low voltage to high voltage and high voltage to low voltage, right? So in solid state relay, everything is actually electronic, right? So everything comes in a chip only, right? So everything can be governed in a electronic way.